Cursor's team plan runs $40 per user per month, and Claude Code's runs $100 per seat. That's a $60 gap per developer every single month. At a team of 10, you're looking at an extra $7,200 a year just to pick the wrong tool. I went through official pricing pages, vendor docs, and community reports to compare Claude Code and Cursor across 5 tests. Every score I call out is sourced and verified. I pulled the numbers myself from what both companies actually stand behind. The tool with the better pricing for solo devs actually loses on model flexibility by the widest margin of any test. Whether that trade-off kills the deal for you depends on one thing, and I'll get to it in the conditional verdict. My name is Brian, and I'm in these tools 12 hours a day, so you don't have to be. I track pricing changes, run the tests, and report back so you can make the call fast and move on. Both tools are genuinely good, but good for who? A solo dev shipping a complex refactor across 50 files has totally different needs from a team of 8 splitting AI credits. This comparison is for both of you, and the numbers are going to tell very different stories. Test 1, code, completion, accuracy, and context understanding. When the AI misses a dependency 3 layers deep in a 200+ file codebase, you're not just getting a wrong suggestion, you're chasing a bug for 2 hours. That's what this test is really about. What surprised me here is how cleanly they split. On multi-file reasoning, Claude Code scored 8.5 out of 10 against Cursor's 7.5. That 200K plus token context window does real work on big repos. But inline completion speed flipped it hard. Cursor scored 9, Claude Code scored 5. Because Claude Code doesn't do inline suggestions at all, it's terminal-based. The hard truth is these are kind of different skills. Claude Code is better at thinking across your whole code base. Cursor is faster at the line-by-line stuff you do 50 times a day. They're not really competing on the same dimension, which is why this one's harder to call than the score gap makes it look. I thought Claude Code would take this on raw reasoning alone, but the inline speed gap is too wide to ignore, so this test lands as a tie. Neither tool sweeps it. Score stays level. One test tied, and we're moving on. Test 2, IDE integration and workflow depth. A developer who's been in VS Code for 3 years and suddenly has to context switch to a terminal agent, that friction compounds. Every time your tool doesn't live where you work, you lose maybe 10 minutes of flow, and that adds up fast across a full workday. Cursor is literally a fork of VS Code, and it's a full IDE with AI baked in, scoring 9.5 for native IDE experience. Claude Code scored 6 there because it's primarily a terminal agent. What I found interesting, though, is that Claude Code scored 9 on multi-surface availability, web, iOS, Android, Slack, JetBrains, while Cursor is basically desktop only. Honestly, I thought Claude Code's multi-surface reach would close the gap more, but the IDE native experience difference is just too big for most developers. Cursor takes IDE integration. That puts Cursor up 1-0 with one test still tied. Test 3, pricing model and cost per developer. The $20 entry price looks identical on both tools, but that's where the similarity stops. A 5-person team on the wrong plan could be paying $300 more per month than they need to, and that's before anyone hits a usage ceiling and gets surprised by an overage. At the individual level, Claude Code Pro at $20 a month includes full Claude Code access with no separate credit limits. Claude Code scored 8.5 there. Cursor Pro at $20 only gives you $20 of Frontier model credits, which heavy users burn through fast. Flip to Teams and it reverses. Cursor Teams is $40 per user per month flat. Claude Code Team Premium is $100 per seat. Cursor's team rate made me think it would win pricing outright, but Claude Code's transparent API pricing and stronger individual value pulled it ahead overall. Claude Code takes pricing. That ties the series up. 1 win each, 1 test still tied. 2 tests left, and the next one is where the price advantage stops mattering, because if your team can't share rules and automate workflows, the cost savings evaporate. Test 5 is also where the gap between these tools is the single widest of the whole comparison. Test 4, real-time collaboration and multi-user editing. When your team of 6 engineers can't share a common rule set, and someone's AI is giving wildly different suggestions from everyone else's, you're not saving time, you're creating inconsistency at scale. I looked at 3 subtests here. Team collaboration features went to Cursor by a small margin, shared .cursor, rules, custom commands, and team rules on business plans. Enterprise governance was a dead tie at 8 each, both SOC2 and SSO ready. What surprised me was workflow automation. Claude Code scored 8.5 versus Cursor's 6.5 because MCP connectors let it reach GitHub, databases, and Slack in ways Cursor doesn't match. Collaboration is a split decision. Cursor edges team features, Claude Code edges automation. Enterprise governance is level. Call it a tie. Score stays 1-1, 2 tests tied now, and 1 test left. Test 5, model selection. Flexibility and customization. If your tool locks you into one model family, you're not just missing options. You're leaving performance on the table every single session, whether you need GPT 5.3 for one task or Gemini for the next. This one wasn't close. On model variety, Cursor scored 9.5. It supports Claude, GPT 5.3, Gemini 3, and custom models, switchable per agent tab. Claude Code scored 4 because it's locked to Anthropic models only, no switching mid-session. On customization depth, Claude Code pulled back slightly with an 8.5 via MCP servers and SDKs, but that doesn't close a 5.5-point gap on model variety. Cursor takes model flexibility, and it's not even a debate. That's the biggest delta in the whole comparison. Cursor goes up 2-1 with 2 tests tied, and that's your final scoreboard. Claude Code wins on deep multi-file reasoning. That 200K plus token context window is real, and it shows on complex code bases. It wins on individual pricing at $20 a month with no credit caps. And it wins on workflow automation through MCP connectors that reach GitHub, databases, and Slack in ways Cursor can't match. Cursor wins on native VS Code integration. It's a full IDE, zero setup friction. It wins on real-time tab completions that adapt to your patterns over time. It wins on model flexibility with Claude, GPT 5.3, Gemini 3, and custom models switchable per task. And for teams, $40 per user per month flat beats $100 per seat by a mile. The model flexibility gap ended up wider than I thought going in, so here's the decision rule. If you're a solo dev doing deep, complex work across big repos and you want transparent pricing at $20 a month, go Claude Code. If you're on a team, you live in VS Code, and you want the freedom to switch models per task, go Cursor. That $60 per seat gap every month is real. Pick the tool that fits how you actually work. I ran Claude Code against Windsurf next, and the team pricing story flips again. Windsurf's flat rate comes in even lower than Cursor's $40, but the model depth comparison gets really interesting. That one's already on the channel if you want to keep going.